How's it going? It's almost 5 in the morning. It's like 4:50. The store opens at 6, so maybe I'll just have a shower and go to sleep. I've been working on my house. Been buying I was paying down my credit cards and had some credit, so I blew all the money that I had on my Amazon card until that maxed out. But then I couldn't find my wallet, so I couldn't buy anything. I found this whole Home Depot card, went to Home Depot, but turns out the Home Depot account closed. But then I came home and looked in my hamper and found my wallet in one of my shorts, so I have my wallet again. Kind of having trouble keeping up with my life. Like, I don't think I paid taxes. I went to TurboTax and I tried to pay the money, and I could have sworn I've hit pay and all that. And money never went through, so and I haven't had the time to look at that. And then my website is like expired. And I haven't had a time to take care of that. I think I'm paying like extra every day to keep it or something, so it's like I can't even keep up with it. So I have been keeping up with taking care of my mom, though. Been going over there and doing gardening over at her house every day. Yesterday, day before yesterday, not today though. She was doing something else, but I think maybe tomorrow. Today she came by and brought me by like $30 worth of food. She got me at Trader Joe's, so that was cool. I haven't started missing not having a car yet. It could be a while. Yeah, I guess I've had my Tegu 5 days because I think I did the video because it said, I just looked, it said I did a video 5 days ago, like not doing a good job keeping up with the videos, but that was the day I got the Tegu, so I've had it 5 days. Yeah, I had the Tegu on the first day. Hey, I had it. Was like looking around in the sun a little bit, and then it disappeared for like a couple of days. It kind of disappeared, and I was like, where the hell did you go? Like, totally disappeared, like, hid. And then it came out, and then I saw it in the sun again. So now it's normal. It's like in the basking during the day, and then goes into high a little bit. I don't think it's quite hot enough in the basking area because, like, to get it 110 degrees, I had to have the light really far down, but then all the geckos were escaping because I was using the chicken wire. And even though I was having it doubled, they were still escaping. So I had like all these crickets everywhere. And I've been catching a bunch of them. And hope not two of them got in the hallways into other people's apartments. Maybe a couple of them have. But, because I think I caught one like almost leaving my apartment. But, so then I had to use like another one, temporary one, the one for this one. I bought one and it came broken. I spent like $110 and it came broken. Then I found out there's no returns. I was like, oh shit, what an idiot. Don't buy big glass stuff if there's no returns or refunds. So then I went to 2 thrift stores. I went to one, found that one, and then I went to another one and found that one. They were $30 each, and this one's 40 gallons and the other one's 30. That's the one that the Tegu's inside right now. Yeah, it's just eating crickets. That's what you hear, the crickets in the Tegu. So anyway, in a few days I'll get the top built just specifically for that one. And then I can cut a hole into it, and so that the 160 watt lamp can dip down a little bit lower and warm the area more, you know. I'll keep an eye on the Tegu, make sure it doesn't get burnt, but 160 watt, and it gets between it's a 19 inch high. So if I take it 6 inches, it's still a foot away from the tegu. I think that's far enough, but I don't know. Yeah, and that's what I have that in there. They say they'll know when you move it. So, oh yeah, I wanted to look on the internet for a rule of thumb, like at what point does a lizard get too big for its enclosure? Then I can move it into this daddy enclosure right here. And then I can get a couple of gargoyle geckos. Get a couple of gargoyle geckos in there. So, so yeah, I maxed out my credit card because I've become extremely, I owe like a lot now. 12,000, 13,000 or something. I just started being like, yeah, let's just get everything that you always wanted in a house, you know, that like is essential for a house. Because now's the time where I'm trying to leave my room and have a normal life. And if you have a normal life, you have to be like Nero, ancient Roman emperor. You have to build a house that's fit for human being. Or else I might as well just go back in my room. So, yeah, I've come up with more ideas since the last time I did a video. I decided to get more animals. So, on that enclosure, in that sucker there, that's where the 10 gallon's gonna go. I'm gonna put a glowing axolotl, and I'm gonna fill that with glowing rocks, and I'm gonna surround that whole area with black light. So the whole thing's gonna glow up. Maybe even get like glowing plants and everything glowing in there. Because during the day it has the sunshine to be able to charge up the rocks, so that at night the rocks can glow. So perfect right there. Plus the axolotl needs to, I guess, not be in too hot of a position, of a situation, and so near the door would be the best place to be, not so hot, I guess. Because the door can open and let cool air in. And then there, in that 5 gallon, I'm going to put I even have them all written here. One African dwarf frog, which is a water frog. And up there, like I said before, I'm going to have a crested gecko, and I have a 20-gallon fish tank, and then I have a leopard gecko up there that I've had for years. And then the tegu's there. And then on there, though, I've decided, on that side, you're going to have a 10-gallon and a 5-gallon. On this side, it's a 10-gallon and a 5-gallon tank. So on one of the 10 gallons over there, I'm going to have a Egyptian sandfish, which is a lizard. It's a skink lizard that can swim through the sand like it's water, like a fish. So I'm definitely getting that. And then in the other 10-galloner, I'm going to get a ring neck snake. So I can have a snake. That's the smallest snake you can get. And then in the 5-gallon next to it, I'm going to have a, if it's water, I'm going to have a dwarf crayfish. I was thinking about a crab, but they kind of need, I guess people are saying they need more space than that. But if I hear people say, like a hermit crab, but if people say that, actually, yeah, I'm going to get a hermit crab in there. You can do hermit crabs in 5 gallons. So I'm going to have a hermit crab in there. And then I'm going to have a dwarf crayfish in the other one. So a dwarf crayfish is like a hermit crab for the water, and then a crab for land, right? So that's cool. I was going to get a, like a cherry shrimp, a mono shrimp, nerite snail. But the cherry shrimp, I'd rather have a hermit crab. And for the 20-gallon tank, you know, when my fish dies, I'm going to let my VIP fish die there first. But then I'll get like a couple of glow light tetras, a nerite snail, and a mono shrimp, and kind of try to have like different animals, one of each different kind of animal in there. See if I can make it work. I'm going to take all of the whole science seriously, the temperature, pH balance, and all that. And I found a better way to clean the tanks. I've been cleaning the tank wrong. I've been doing it the traditional way. I haven't really been paying attention to the world, you know. Hope this isn't upside down. And there's so many, like, or to the side. There's so much more technology now. Like, so before I was just using a brush, but now you can do these things that's always in there. So you just move it around by magnets connecting. And so you have one per side. And so all you have to do is go up there all the time and just move them back and forth a few times. So you just keep it clean. And then you can switch out the water a lot faster and do that more. So, yeah, so now, like, my fish tank can be totally clean all the time. That'd be nasty anymore. That's why I think all my fish died. I just wasn't taking care of it enough. But, so those are those animals. But then, for my ferret ladder that goes down, I wanted to go ahead, because the ferret ladder has to jut out like 4 inches anyway, right there, which is an unnatural place because it's between the second bedroom and the bathroom. So it's kind of like if people walking back and forth, you could easily kick it and knock something. So I think I'm going to protect stuff back there with a marijuana plant. I'm going to grow a marijuana plant there, like a big ass, put a big pot there on the bottom. And also, if the ferret falls, I'm going to put some like cushioning on top of it. The ferret ladder juts out. Oh man, the ferret ladder juts out. Let's hold it like this, just in case the thing was upside down before. The ferret ladder jumps out 4 inches, and so I bought these from KT. I didn't even know they existed. These like little terrariums that are 4 inches by 4 inches by 8 inches. So it juts out exactly the same as the ferret. So it'll work. It's a perfect thing. It gives presence to help you know to not mess around with that area and be a klutz and bump into stuff. So I got 4 of those. 2 for the upper on either side and 2 for the lower. So for those, they're each a half gallon, 4 inches by 4 inches by 8 inches. So one gets a tarantula, and each one gets one. One a mantis, one a centipede or a millipede, and then 1 jumping spiders. And I feed them the same thing I feed everything else, crickets. I saw a jumping spider eat a cricket. So that's cool. And then I'm also going to have wall tanks. I think I was talking about this. I'm going to have a half-gallon tank somewhere. Then I'm going to put a beta. That gets its own heater and light. And they all get their own light. And and then I'm going to get a bunch of gallon tanks with bubblers. I think the beta gets a bubbler too, along the hallway, the entrance hall. Because I was looking at that entrance hall, you know, and I'm like, well, that should be like a room, you know. It shouldn't be something you just walk in and out of. It should be like an actual part of the apartment. So if you line the walls with the plants and fish and these animals, then it's like, now it's a room. It's like an actual legit beautiful entrance room. You know, I have like a motion activated, sound activated machine in there. Oh wait, this is upside down. That means I'm going to be upside down. This is better. You want to do it with the power cord on the left. I just now realized that for the first time. So, but you know, the way that my phone's been doing, even when I hold it right, it still shows me sideways. It's crazy. And I know I was holding it right, because I was doing a really short video and I held it both ways, and I looked both ways. It was sideways. So, but whatever. Yeah, so in those gallon wall ones that I got, one gets a white cloud minnow, 1.5 inches. One gets a dwarf spotted daniel, 1 inch. One gets a Endler's live bearer, 1.2 inches. One gets a zebra denio, 1.2 inches. One a neon tetra, 1 inch, or guppy. And then the half gallon gets a beta. Even though it's bigger, it'll breathe better. So, is that what it's called? Beta. So, the Chinese fighting fish. So, it's like the only fish you can put in without bubbles. So, but it has to be like in a warm area. So, anyway, I also got, and I only got this on a whim, because like I ran out of credit cards. I hit my 7,000 limit and it went up to 7,400. So I must have blown like $5,400 just like that, because I had 4,500 and then I paid 2,500 and I was down to 2,000. Now I'm back up to 74. So stuff just adds up, because I didn't have like anything in here. Like this house was totally bare. It was like a rental house, because I never really properly moved in. I was just in my room. So yeah, so I just, when I found my wallet, I just plugged in my other credit card, which I already owe like 5,000 on, but it has a higher credit limit, into my Amazon. And so then I started buying again. I reactivated the things that got canceled. And because my strategy is to, even if I end up spending a lot on interest, it's still worth it, because I have all the stuff here when I'm ready to have it. You know, I'm following my own schedule. That's how I operate. And now I have all this stuff piled up. And so now all I need is time, you know. Time to mount my new bike rack, time to mount my TV, time to mount the speaker on the TV, time to finish mounting these little lights and the other lights and all these plants, and figure out the terrarium too, you know. Like, it really takes a lot of thought and like really enjoyable artistic work to set up all this stuff, like perfectly, exactly how you want it, exactly how it's perfect for the animal. Like the other day, I rearranged how I was doing my leopard gecko. I was doing my leopard gecko the whole goddamn time wrong, because I just never had time to look at it. And I was like, oh shit, his hide, he's in this hide, so why is the hide under the light? The hide needs to be on the other side of the light. So it was like, that was the first time I like noticed, and so, you know. So it's like, if I'm gonna finally move to my house, I might as well do all of it now, or as much as I can get away with, you know. So I also came up with a new idea to triple the size of my garden. So I have a typical, you know, deck. And so on top of my deck, it's like a good 6 inches wide on the deck. On top of the deck, I put planters, which are like 3 feet long. So I have the entire deck lined with planters. But then the other day, I bought those plants that are hanging. That one right there. Because I want to prepare my house for plants. And then I got those two face plants, and then these little itty bitty plants. Just having to have plants everywhere, because I have these 2 humidifiers, and I'm gonna have my humidifiers that I got years ago, because I thought I was gonna have plants in there. I'm just gonna have my humidifiers going in my house all the time. And then, and this is on a whim, I saw this thing, look at this, for sale, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, fuck it, get it, because it was like $40 off, and I got 2 of them, and it was just the coolest thing I've ever seen. Grow lights you hang from the ceiling. So these little grids. So I'm gonna put one in there in the hallway and one right up there. So then all the plants, so I'm gonna just put plants all around the walls, you know? You ever thought about using a grow light on the ceiling for plants that are on the walls, all the little ones? And that's why I was gonna put the marijuana plant on the bottom, because then if it's surrounded by all these grow lights, well, fuck, maybe you could grow a marijuana plant. And it's legal to have 6 marijuana plants per person. And I have a roommate. I could legally have 12 marijuana plants in here. And it's like, I don't even have the freaking room for that. Maybe if I do a little bit of like research, maybe you could grow marijuana plants on the walls in like a wall planter. And then once it gets big, I guess you would transplant it just temporarily into like the big floor planter, just to get it big enough to kill and take all the buds, but to like grow your own marijuana in here would be fucking awesome. And plus, when I get the money, when I save up for it again next year, when I have another spending spurt, get more. Get them for above my kitchens, so they're above all my animal cages, so that you can grow real plants in the animal cage. People are like, I have a grow light in my animal cage. Why not have a grow light all over your apartment? and then it can affect all the animal cages. And then like my garden out there, see, because I looked at those plants I was just showing, and I was just out there, and I looked and was like, oh my God, it fits perfectly on there, same depth, and it hooks and it sits on the top of my deck, like my deck wall is a little bit wider than the planters I have, so you can set these on it, and it just, I'm like, oh my God, I could triple, because you put it one on the outside, one on the inside, and you do it around, and now you've got like a huge garden. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to do that. So I just got a whole bunch of them. It takes like 32 of them, and they're also like, they're called self-planting. Like you can take the inside out, these little black insides, so it makes it way easier to plant. You can just take them out, water them, and plant them and everything, and then just pop them in instead of having to move around to where they are. It's fucking beautiful. And then at that, to the outside of one of that is where I will attach my chicken wire for the bird cage, and then take a photo of it and see if they give me permission to do it, the homeowners. But so it's a lot. Oh, but I was thinking, why not put all the grow lights out there? Just line that whole area with grow lights. Then you can just grow plants out there, like you turn your whole deck into a giant arrow garden. I would have to get permission for that. Maybe they would say it's okay, but that would be super bright. But like you would have it going during the day, and people wouldn't really notice during the day. I'm gonna ask them for permission to do that. But yeah, so like for $440, I got 2 of them, and it's good enough for 2 grow tents of 3x3. So I'm like, whoa, I'm getting way ambitious. But like I'm setting, it's gonna take me so long to set all this up. By the time I'm ready to buy animals, I'll probably have the money for it, you know, because it like. This could take a couple of months. I don't know, but so yeah, I got my little ferret tubes. Oh yeah, I don't think I talked about this. I decided to expand the ferret, because like there's my new ferret cage, which I'm gonna put right here. The ferret gets to hang out literally right next to the Tego in his 5th cage. So he has a cage over my bike table, which is where all my studio is, and then on a nice cloth tunnel, he can travel to the other cage, which is just south. So my bike table is on the northwestern side of the room. So the double layer ferret cage goes there, double layer thin. So I still have plenty of room on my desk for my own stuff. And then the ferret travels along the ceiling wall to the 2nd cage, which is on the western side, on top of a bookshelf. And then he travels along the ceiling to his 3rd cage, which is on the southeastern side of my room, on the ceiling, which is just a tiny little cage, a travel cage, big enough just as a transit place. Because then it can then do a circle and go back to the original cage. So it can go around an entire circle around the entire my room. But on the door of my room, he can travel outside of my room through the wall. So that little cage has three openings in it, to the another cage, which he can hang out on the ceiling and watch everything from up there. And then he can climb across, and that goes there. And then he can climb across the ceiling there to there. And then he uses a little on those tubes. And then he can zigzag on the tube to get down to that big cage, which is his ground cage next to the Tego. So he has 5 cages that he can travel through, all 5 of them, like when he's locked up. And then when I open him up to free range, he can leave up there from that one. And then I'm gonna have these, the chicken wire is gonna be wrapped in sheets, and then wrapped in leaves, so it looks like a tree. And then that's flat, so he'll run along top of it, around the edges of the whole house. And over there, he'll run along the top of it too, and around the whole house. But below it is where his little tube will be for when he's locked up. So I'll have like a connection. So this whole thing is gonna be totally VIP for all the animals. And this thing here was gonna be the secondary hamster cage, because that's his first hamster cage, and then he travels to it. But this is a 40-gallon tank, and it's 18 inches deep, and I'm like, maybe it's too big for the hamster. So I was thinking about giving the hamster one half of it, and then going down and giving hamster the entire thing on the bottom, and just have like a level, super glue a level of like plexiglass, so that he can go under and not worry about it collapsing on him, and just do all kinds of like tunneling in there, like all crazy tunneling. and then pop up and not even know that half of his cage on the surface is. Oh, actually, no. Use the whole thing. He can use the whole thing. That's the first thing I was thinking. And then use the other half for another animal. But I was like, no, that wouldn't work. So I was like, fuck it. Maybe I'll do the whole thing. And I'm trying to figure out now where you would give like a little box turtle, like a little Russian tortoise, the smallest tortoise you can find, maybe this big, to live in here. 40-gallon tank, good enough for the tortoise. And then he shares it with the hamster. So the hamster can pop in. Because the tortoise is like lives in room temperature. And it needs a UV light, but I don't think the UV light will really bother the hamster, and the hamster can stay away from that area anyway. So the hamster can dig and adventure and hang out with the tortoise, and then go back. And if he gets sick of the tortoise, he can just escape back to his own cage. And if he wants to visit the tortoise, he can come out here and hang out in this big ass tank and dig. And then even dig down and dig over, because I'm going to build levels for the hamster to do different levels too. So. So yeah, I'm just gonna see if they'll hang out. I think they would, because the tortoise won't pay attention to the hamster. He'll just be eating his grass or whatever, and the hamster's not gonna pay attention to the turtle because it's too big. The hamsters just be like, "What's that?" So I don't think they'll bother each other, but and the habitat is similar enough, just room temperature. So that's what I'd do, because I kind of wanted to get a turtle, and you could put a turtle in a 10-gallon tank, but I was using up all my 10-gallon tanks on other animals, like that axolotl, which I have to have because it's a freaking trippy as hell looking and it glows. I have to have the sand skink, because that's just crazy as hell, swimming through the sand. And I had to have a snake, and I had to have, so that's all of the snake goes in so that's all the 10-gallon tanks, that are flat. So I used them up. I didn't have any room for a tortoise or a turtle. So now I'm like, oh wait, you can get one in this. So now I can get the turtle, so I'm excited. I'm not gonna get the giant turtle though, because I don't have an enclosure for it. So anyways, that's what I'm up to now. And I probably didn't even mention all this other stuff. I got these disco lights that go around, and the black lights for that. Anyway, I haven't really done organizing everything. I have to go to Home Depot again to hopefully they'll still have that bag. Oh yeah, because before I was gonna put all these new planters on my deck, I have to fortify my deck. I don't want to get in trouble and have it all fall on somebody's head. So I'm gonna make sure that it's glued all over, like super, like not glued, but drilled, screwed all over to the deck from the bottom. Even if it means I have to kind of dig through my plants, because I planted plants. And I saw my vine just grew up yesterday for the first time. And then more screws on the side, and then fortify it with wire around the whole thing. And last week I did paint it really well. So after that, because they were kind of cheap, when you first bought them. After that, I can attach those other things, those other plastic ones. And then, oh my God. I think I saw a sign for a sale of plants. Maybe I'll find a good plant sale, see if there's something like that, and just fill it up this summer and be like, oh my God, look at that. So now I have a really big garden out there. I don't know what the square foot of it is, but it's nice. I have like a legit garden. Like as big of a garden as like somebody who has like a yard, and they go to their backyard to their garden. I have a garden that's like that big, just here. And I could even have it like protected from birds if I have to. Which I wouldn't have to, but with the this chicken wire, because I was going to use that for my parakeets. Anyways, so I have my work cut out for me. I've just been working like every night. Oh, I ran out of weed last night. I bought like weed. I think it lasts like 3 or 4 days for like $10. Weed's practically free out here. It's like less than energy drinks. But it was like shake. So I'm going to go back to actually the good shit. I want to see if I don't want to buy any more paraphernalia. I'm just smoking out of a pipe, but if I could get like keef or something funky strong, nice this time, it'd be fun. I just want to stay high while I'm still working on all this stuff. Because it's just trippy as hell. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm doing. I'll do a tour of my house when I'm done in like a month. And motherfuckers will be like, dude, what? I'm telling you, it will be the best 800, I think my apartment's like 850 square feet apartment, most zoological apartment this size on the planet. And just a few days ago, on that, see, look, the sun's coming up. I'm a freaking night owl. It's like 6 in the morning. That tree right there, I don't know if you can see it. Like, I was working and I heard these like raccoons fighting, which you hear like on a regular basis just out front of my apartment. And then I heard rustling, and I come and I look, and I see 3 raccoons coming down that tree. And the last one stopped and like looked right at me, and I'm like looking at him. We're like less than 10 feet from each other. That was trippy. There were some squirrels, and they're coming on my deck before, but I haven't seen them for a while. I've been trying to put up food out for the birds too, but there's always birds like all out here, like beep 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 beep, because there's all these trees around. So it's a perfect apartment to load up with animals. I wanted to. Oh, and also, with my grow lights on all the time, and if I buy more grow lights, like everywhere inside here, and humidifiers going all the time, and then I have like these little self misters and self sprayers. Like once I get this place up and running, I'm gonna have so many plants. Like, because I wanted to have the plants to counteract the smell of all the animals and the ferret and everything. And I'm gonna have so many goddamn plants and flowers. It's gonna smell in here. It's gonna have a total vibe. It's gonna have like a house vibe. That's what I'm shooting for. I wanna be in here and feel like I'm in a house. Like when I look up and I see trees out there, because I'm on the 2nd floor, so I don't have to see people. Like I'll actually feel like I'm in like a house. That's the vibe I wanna go for. And a place that I can just like feel like I'm living large. Because Boulder's a great place. If I can have like a great house, living large, and then go outside and go on cool adventures, that'll keep me out of my room working on my website, which is what I'm doing. This is all strategic. I know how many times I've tried to get out of my website, and lots of voodoo magic is going on where I've been losing material from my website. Google Earth projects they don't get lost, they get replaced by old versions, which defies logic because it's with my computer, and my computer doesn't do that. I get cloud storage with Apple, but Apple doesn't do it that way either. The guy told me himself. So it's all completely defying logic. Like, I would be just as surprised, just as least surprised if all of a sudden I would start floating right now. I can like levitate or anything could happen. Logic doesn't apply in my life. There could be a little fucking fairy that could appear right in front of me and start talking to me in Swahili for all I give a fuck. Like anything could happen because that shit was happening to me on my website. So I'm like, I took that as a message from the gods. I'm like, oh, I have magical powers? I don't live in the world of actual fucking cause and effect? Okay. Well then, and that's a message for me to not do that life? The spirits with the magical powers are telling me not to? Okay, fine. Well, maybe we can carry this magical mojo off into the rest of my life, And instead of shit magically fucking me over, that same magic will push me along and help magical things happen. Because I'm not doing what the gods obviously did not want me to do. Because that stuff that defied logic was happening. When have you ever fucking heard of a file getting replaced by a file from years ago? And then that happening on the goddamn fucking regular. It doesn't happen. It only happens in worlds where physics doesn't apply. That's the world I live in. Physics do not motherfucking apply to me. I don't expect anybody to believe me, but I've seen it way too many times. So anyways, that's enough talking. I think I might as well just wait till 6 and go to the store and get an energy drink and some candy. And I know sounds bizarre. I wind down with energy drinks, but the way I see it, if I'm not tired, then don't go to fucking sleep, If I'm tired, then if I drink an energy sleep, I'll fucking go to sleep anyways. Who gives a shit? I don't drink the energy drinks to give me energy. I drink the energy drinks just because I love the taste. Oh, shit. I have weed. Because I love the taste and I love to smoke weed while I drink my energy drink. And it's like, gives me high. But then I just realized I don't have weed. All I have is, maybe I could scrape it, but I ain't going to do that. The fuck's my luck. So I think I'll wait till 9, have an energy drink, take a shower, and then, watch Netflix and stuff. completely sober because I don't have any more weed. And if I'm still awake at 9, then I'll be like, fuck yeah. I'll go to the store, get some cash out, and get like 5 days worth of weed. Get like $13 worth of weed, 2 grams of weed is usually good for like 3 days for me. Physically, I can't smoke that much weed because I just start coughing. It's not even asthma. I don't get asthma anymore. I think Advair cured my asthma. I had really bad asthma for a long time. And now I pretty much don't have it anymore. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's like magic. But the asthma got replaced with sore throat. Now I just cough my ass off if I try to smoke. So physically, I can't smoke all day. Sort of. I mean, I did it a couple weeks ago or whatever. Maybe I was finishing up weed and I just sat there smoking constantly for like an hour. But when you do that, you don't really get high after 10 minutes. It just makes you start coughing. So anyway, yeah, if I'm still up at 9, I'll go get some weed. If not, it's like, well, good. At least I'm sleeping. But yeah, so that's what I'm up to. I'm going to be up to now. So that's why my video is 35 minutes long, because it's been 5 days since I did my video. But I'll show my my collection. I'll show all of my friends. Oh, and then in the other one, I think I said something about. Did I mention? Oh, I didn't mention all of the tanks. You know, because then there's also another 12-gallon tank that I got, where I'm gonna put poison dart frogs, like multiple poison dart frogs, because they sing, they make jungle noises, and they're all colorful. They're called poison dart frogs. That's what the Indians use to make poison darts with, to kill monkeys with. And I'm gonna put morning geckos in there with them. Before I didn't want morning geckos, but now because they multiply. But now I'm like, wait, I want morning geckos because they multiply, because then you can feed them to your other reptiles. If you have too many morning geckos, just give them to your snakes and all of your other whatevers, you know? So, and you can keep them in. People are like, oh, they escape. Somebody was saying, Clint, I want to buy it. I went to try to buy it, and I ended up buying those little munchkin cages instead, and then I forgot to get it because I forgot. But yeah, there's this little foam. You foam it in, and it fills up the holes so that they can't get away. So anyways, yeah, I love it. So to set up all these terrariums, you know, I mean, it will take more money, but it'll kind of take more. It'll take just as much time as money, you know. So that's what I want. Do something that takes up time, and once it's all set up, it's like, holy shit, maybe I can make something. Because I've never seen anybody, and especially now with the technology we have, all the cool stuff, affordable. I've never seen anybody with a full-on jungle house, and I don't think anybody's done it right. And if anybody can do a full-on jungle house, it's me, because I'm just creative that way. I don't pull out any of the stops. I have the time and the money for it, you know. So it's like, and not just that though, but I have the perfect setup. Like, who has a setup like that? Like, that's perfect. Well, actually, everybody has that setup. It's a fucking fireplace. But who's thought of turning a fire? Who's realized a fireplace is the perfect fucking cage? A fireplace makes a way better cage than a fireplace. Because check it. You can use the bottom part for the giant animal, whether it's a giant tortoise or your tegu or a huge boa constrictor or whatever. In that case, it's a tegu. But on the top, you can put all these other regular-sized aquariums, 10 and 5-gallon aquariums. And it fits just fine on that ledge because you can just buy the little triangle things that extend that help support it. A 5-gallon tank, most of its center of gravity is actually against the wall on that side. And on that side, the 10-gallon, most of it's off, but you can do the calculations, and I'm sure it can help hold the weight. But the cool thing about the shape of it, the feng shui of it, is that when you walk up to it to get your tegu or whatever, you stand as close you are to the tegu as you can because your feet. You're also not too close. You're perfectly lined up with all of the other animals up there, because this angles in. So because it angles in, you can get closer to these guys without compromising this, and you can get in and just totally look and look up at these. So it's fucking perfect the way that's designed. When I realized that, I was like, oh my God, you're begging me to put stuff up there. Same thing with the windowsills. So anyway, so yeah. My goal is to make it is to completely fill every nook and cranny with every single thing that I can without it getting cluttered. Because sometimes people can overboard and start messing up the flow, the feng shui, by getting cluttered. And I shoot for functionality all the time. You know, like my mom, like an old school person might look at and be like, oh my God, it's cluttered, just because of their perception. But I'd be like, all right, why? And she could be like, oh, but that. And I'd be like, well, is it in anybody's way? Because if it's not in your way, it's not clutter. Clutter means if it's in your way. So, you know, and if it's mind clutter, that's on you. That's your fault. It's your own bias. So, so yeah, I think I've got it all figured out. Once I have the time, I also have to go and organize my basement storage too, which is almost, oh, and try to get the key back from my roommate. I give my roommate access to the lower storage, and I don't think I should give roommates access to the lower storage because they never use it anyway. And I need that stuff, so I'm going to ask him if we can just share that. And then when I have the money, I'm going to put a bunch of shelves in there, like buy shelves that are fit for it. And that'd be cool for organization. All right, enough talking. Talk to you tomorrow.